This is Felicia Brown, your host. We are dropping gems of wisdom for your pivot and fuel for your hustle. Through these conversations, I hope you are inspired, motivated, and encouraged to start or stay in your hustle. So I'm sitting down with Michelle Pettis, founder of Brand New Press Now, who is a speaker, coach, writer, and the author of Leaving Large: Stories of a Food Addict, published in 2021. For more than 40 years, Michelle struggled with weight, losing and gaining more than 900 pounds. When she hit 200-pound mark, she began sleuthing to understand why her food life was just simply out of control for so many years. After much research and contemplation, her journey began, and the book was born. She is now helping others understand what's underneath, that it's not about the food, but it's the story behind the food. And so Michelle is going to share with us her Hustle Playbook and why flow is more important than grinding. Thank you, Michelle, for joining me.
Felicia, thank you for having this platform. I'm so excited about the conversation this evening.
Oh, Michelle, so look, when we met in Ghana, I knew that we were going to be friends for a very long for a very long time. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And then I just remember on the trip after we had been touring and laughing and eating and all those good things, you whip out the book and you like, I have a book. And we're like, wait a minute, where where did all this come from? And
Right.
so, yeah, and I was like, of
Surprise,
course we're gonna
surprise.
exactly. I was like, of course we're gonna support you. Like, why wouldn't we support a sister?
Right.
You know,
And I remember, Felicia, you got a book, and you also bought a book for your cousin. Was it your
yes,
cousin? Yes, yeah.
yes,
I knew it was a relative, and
yes.
that always warms my heart on so many levels when somebody sees the book and they buy it for somebody else. And part of that has to do with the fact that I know what so much of the conversation is about. Like if I get this book about weight loss, is it going to hurt their feelings? Are they going to feel some kind of way? Are they going to be saying that I'm trying to fat shame them? But I'm see this book and I see this as something that they have talked to me about, that this has been a
Mhm.
struggle for them. I know it's an area where they want support. So I want to support them. And I'm not going to be worried about what their response is because I'm getting it for them in love. And every
Exactly.
time somebody buys a book for somebody, I know that they have to go through some stuff to
Mhm.
do it because because somebody who's struggling with this, you don't know how they're going to respond, and but you're
Exactly.
willing to take the risk of what that response is because you love them enough to say, I'm thinking about you. I'm holding your journey. I'm holding your journey for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, Michelle, I'm glad you wrote the book. I mean, because I think that a lot of people struggle in silence
Hmm.
around their weight. I'm a woman of a certain age and I'm in this menopause phase. And, I recognize that I've been one size for most of my life. And then when menopause hit, I was like, wait a minute, what
Right.
in the what in the Sam sausage is going on here?
Right.
And, you just start to feel very uncomfortable in the skin that you're in. So I would imagine that someone who has been battling weight loss for years and years and years is probably feeling for so long what I just all of a sudden started feeling. And
Right.
so I'm glad that you wrote this book. Um, and that as a result of writing this book, you're now coaching and helping others who have been probably looking for solutions for so many years. And so, Michelle, I like the fact that at the end of each chapter of the book, that you say it's not about the food, It's the story behind the food. And so I would imagine that it's your story behind the food that led you to this brand new journey or this pivot as we might call it on this
Mhm.
show. Um
Mhm.
to where you are now. And so just tell us a little bit about the journey and how we got here and all of that.
Okay, yeah, sure. Um, as you were reading, that intro, the bio, and you were going through all that stuff, She's a workshop facilitator. She's an author, she's a writer, she's a coach. I'm like, that didn't really sound like flow. That sounds like a whole bunch of hustling and grinding. That doesn't sound flowy at all.
But
Sounds like a lot that
there's
sounds
some
like a lot
ebbs and flows. There's some ebbs and flows
right,
in that, is what I
right.
will say.
Uh, so so to your question, how do we get here, right, is really kinda like
Mhm,
the thing. So for 40 years, I worked in media and advertising as a salesperson, as a 100% commission salesperson.
mhm,
And it was a job that I loved. But as I look back on this, I can see that for that 40 years that I was working in this job that I love, that was the 40 years that I was struggling with my weight. That was the
mhm,
40 years that I was gaining and losing that 700 pounds. That was that 40 years where I didn't even know that I was stressed because I couldn't reconcile the fact that a job that I loved and enjoyed and was passionate about could be a source of stress for me.
mhm,
So when I went to the doctor this final time, right? What ended up being the final time, and I needed it to be the final time because I wanted to get off the hamster wheel, Felicia. I did. I needed to. And so I went to this doctor, a sister, as a matter of fact, a sister in Washington, DC. And, she had said before, I've got some stuff that, can help you, but I thought I had it under control until I realized I didn't have it. I didn't have it
right.
under control. And I went to her after having a kind of a breakdown, if you will, and I write about that in the book. I won't get into it today. Um, but I go to her office and she like sees me right away. Thankfully, she didn't have any, patients
Mhm,
at the time.
mhm, mhm,
And so she sat down with me, and this sister, this doc, she must have asked me 10,000 questions. 10,000, right? And it seemed like 10,000.
right.
And at the end of our discussion, she said to me, "It's stress.
Mm,
It is your job. And stress will kill you." Like
mm,
like, I had never considered that it was stress. If you had asked me if I was stressed prior to that, I would have said no, and the notion that stress will kill you
mhm,
just kinda hit me right between the eyes, and it took me a while to, like, really wrap my head around that, but it it started to make sense to me.
mhm,
But as I got deeper into this work, here's, like, the big aha moment that I had, is that I was a high performing professional woman who could do anything on the job at any time, backwards. I was, like,
mhm,
that good, right?
mhm, mhm.
You
You were
it
that
bring it.
girl. You were
I
that
was that
girl.
girl. Right, right. Bring it. Whatever, tough client, got it. Tough situation, tough negotiation. I got all that, right?
Mhm,
But I could not figure out how to lose weight and keep it off. It was a 40-year battle. And
mm,
what I also realized is that I'm not the only one. That
mhm,
we got a lot of folk, a lot of sisters, a lot of women that can do anything for the job, anything for the community, anything for the church, anything for the family, got it figured out. Smart.
mhm,
Got the superwoman cape, but can't
mhm,
figure out this food thing. Right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
and as a result, it keeps you feeling like a failure. Right? And you don't even understand that. And what also happens is you give up.
mm,
You give up, and what you say is, "If I can't figure out this food thing, then I'm just gonna stay focused on this one thing I know how to do,
mm,
how to work."
mm,
which is how,
Yeah.
right, which is how to work, which is how to give, which is how to
Right.
support, which is how to be there for other people without realizing the more we lean into this thing where we feel accomplished that we know how to do, that thing, the leaning into that is causing more stress and keeping us from giving our attention to the thing that we don't know how to do, which is manage food and emotion.
Mm,
So the more we lean into this because we're comfortable and we haven't, on a wholesale way, been given the skills to manage food and emotion, we think it's us. We don't understand that it's a skill. We think it's just something that I guess I just love food more than everybody else. I guess I'm big bone. I guess I come from big
mm,
people. This is my legacy. This is just what runs in my family. I'm just gonna love my big beautiful self and accept that, right?
mhm,
Accept that
mhm.
I accept myself, I love myself without having this real fundamental understanding that yeah, you do that, but also how we feed ourselves is how we care for ourselves.
Mhm.
Is that at the root of it, nutrition is at the root of it. Are we nourishing not just our bodies, but our brains? Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that fresh fruits, vegetables, and high quality protein nourish our brain, right? Nourish our ability to think clearly,
Mm,
nourish our ability to perform. So if you're working harder, right, and things are fuzzy and it takes you longer to do things, start looking at your diet.
mm,
And
mhm.
so we start cleaning that up. Then we don't have to work so hard because we become more productive, more proficient, more higher performing
Mm,
because we're nourishing our ability to do that. So we don't have to spend so much time trying to hustle and grind because
right.
we're taking care of the machine that is under the work.
Right, right. And so we're overcompensating for not being able to handle the weight issue, but we know that we have this other thing. It's called work and raising being a good wife and or a good mother, all those things. We focus on the things that we can do well because this weight thing or whatever that thing is for
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
is something that is too much of a challenge.
Right. Right. And the challenges part of the challenges is that we take on guilt for not knowing. We take on
Mhm.
shame for not being able to do it. We think it's a personal failing. And for anybody that's listening, there's something I want you to know. I want you to know that whatever you're dealing with around your weight and emotions, it is not your fault. So it is not your fault. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. And we live in this culture that is about blaming us and
Mhm.
self-blame for an addiction, for a situation that has been pushed on us,
Mhm.
that we have not been exposed to the skills, the truth about food and emotions
Mm,
to be able to manage things, right? And
mhm,
so we have heard lies for so long, we don't even recognize the truth. We don't even know that we've been lied to.
mm,
We don't know that we have been lied to. And
yeah,
so, it's I it that's it. That's my work, right? And
right.
I got to tell you something, Felicia, when I started this, it wasn't even a health issue for me, right? When I wrote the book, right? When I started this leg of the journey, I didn't even connect my body to my health. It was not a health journey. And I just wanted to look better. I just wanted to wear cute clothes. I mean,
Right.
really, I that sounds so shallow, that sounds so horrible. I did. I you know, I wanted to wear the clothes that were on the mannequin.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
on the mannequin in the regular girl store, right?
right,
I
right.
I want I wanted to wear that stuff, and
Because
I
we
wanted to wear
equate
I
cute
wanted to
with
wear it
small,
and look cute in it. I wanted to
right,
wear it and look cute in it.
right. Because
Right.
we equate cute with small. Like you can't be cute and heavy. So so that we equate those things. And
Yes.
so Michelle, here we talk all about the pivot. And so it
Mhm.
sounds like you pivoted to this masterful business is what I'm going to call it.
Mhm.
Uh, Counseling and helping people after you had your aha moment with your, I'm going to just your weight loss doctor. or counselor who really kind of
Mhm,
helped you see things for what they were. And
mhm,
then you began the journey. And I'm
mhm,
sure that was not easy, which now, of course, gives you a story to tell. And
right.
so, did you pivot um, at that moment, or did you still struggle for a
Oh,
little while?
yeah.
How did that
So
look?
so I am still in process, right?
Mm,
And so, the title of my book is Leaving Large: The Stories of a Food Addict. And
mm,
I want to focus on the word leaving,
mm,
because leaving speaks to journey.
mm,
Leaving speaks to process, and that will always be happening. So
mm,
there isn't a destination at this. When I
mm,
wrote the book, I had no idea it was going to turn into a business. I just thought I was writing a book, right? I thought I was writing a book. A couple people were going to buy it. I didn't know it was going to turn into a speaking thing. I didn't know it was going to turn into coaching. I didn't know it was going to turn into workshops. I didn't know that it was going to turn into me writing a column, writing and getting paid. I didn't know I didn't know it was going to turn into poetry. I didn't know it was going to turn into a whole number of different things that it has turned into. I didn't know that it was going to that it was going to turn into collaborations with other organizations. You know,
mm.
I didn't know that it was self-care. I mean, this overarching my overarching message is about self-care, because
Mm,
when all that time that I was eating, and I'm still a food addict, but all that time that I was eating in a way that was really abuse. It was abuse, but I didn't know it was abuse. I was eating stuff thinking that it was food, and it was really poison. I
mm,
didn't know it because I'm listening to the advertising that says that, that it's healthy. And then I look on the back of the package and I see the first ingredient is sugar. The second ingredient is sugar. I didn't know that. I just thought it was taste good. I didn't know that I needed to make my decisions about what I was going to eat based on nutrition and nourishment. I just thought, does it smell good? Does it look good? Does it taste good? Everybody else is eating it. It must be cool, right? They sell it at Whole Foods. Must be all right, right?
there you go. Trader
I didn't
Joe's.
know, right? So I didn't know any of that. So this it's I'm always, I'm always seeking it. I'm always learning. It's always journey. And I don't all I do Felicia, all I do is step. I
Mhm,
just step out, right? I just step
mhm,
out. And when I step out, the opportunities show up,
mm,
and they
mm,
show up the way that they show up. So at the beginning, when I said, okay, this book can be a business, I wanted to, I thought the barometer was how many books do I sell?
mhm,
I mean, I would go to these events and sometimes I wouldn't sell any books. Nobody would show up. I might sell one book and I would come away feeling some kind of way, right? Because I thought that was the way it was supposed to be. But that's not it. That's not it. That's not it at all.
mhm,
So
mhm.
for people that, decide that they want to write a book and they think that, oh, I'm going to become a bestseller and I- I'm I'm going to put it on Amazon and people are just going to buy automatically. It doesn't work like that at all, right?
Right, right.
So, I'm coming up this year is the 5-year anniversary of my book, right? Um yes, 5 year. I mean, I'm working on the second one and a third one,
That's
but
right.
this whole process has helped me refine my message. So what it was in the beginning is not what it is now.
Mhm,
And what
mhm,
it is now is not what it's going to be 5 years from now. That's what I really need for people to understand about the pivot, is that the market and your audience and the people that you're trying to serve will tell you what they're looking for and what they're needing. And
mhm,
what I figured out is the people that I serve, because I'm a servant, right? I'm a servant. The people that I serve, they don't need recipes. Because if recipes were the answer, they would have kicked this thing a long time ago.
mhm.
There are plenty of 1,200 calories. All they don't need that. They don't need another a pill, a powder, a plan, any of that. They don't need the workout video. They can go to YouTube and get any of that, right? But what they do need is someone that is going to connect the dots.
Mm,
to explain to them what that it is really not like you said, it's not about the food, it's about the food story, and that story is what people carry in their heads. When I
mhm.
get people to make get them to the aha moment where they make the connection that before we ever gain any weight on our body, any extra ounce, any extra anything, before we gain it on our body, we gain it in our heads first. We
Wow.
gain it in our thoughts, we gain it in our beliefs. And we have 100% control of our thoughts and our beliefs. And our thoughts and beliefs are being shaped every day, all the time by outside influencers that want us to stay in the processed food, the snack food, and the junk food. What I teach people how to do is to reclaim their thoughts. And when they reclaim their thoughts, reclaim their beliefs, then they can reclaim their actions and their behaviors around food. And when they can go back and look at that and rewrite those stories and understand that that's where it comes from, then there's freedom. There's freedom that's available. But for the most part, that's not what people are getting.
Yeah.
People aren't. And so they stay stuck and they
Mm,
do what I did for 40 years, gain the weight and lose it because they never learn how to do the mental work.
mm,
And that that is the thing that is key, is that teaching that and teaching it over and over and over again and saying it over and over again in different ways
yeah.
because it's new and it's
Yeah.
so different.
Yep.
But if the old stuff worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You already know what doesn't work. You
Exactly.
already know what
Exactly.
doesn't work. I'm living proof of what does work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Michelle, I
So
would call you a little bit of an accidental entrepreneur.
absolutely.
And 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 when I think about entrepreneurship, um, because it's not easy, because you think about what you shared, that you had no idea that this book was going to open other doors. You just knew that A, you were probably walking in your purpose, and you really didn't know how you were going to help people. You just knew that you had a story to tell and it needed to be told. And if someone benefited from it, then hallelujah, amen. And so here you are, you this accidental entrepreneur. And did you at any point when you saw this thing kind of mushrooming that you were like, oh my, what's happening here? Okay, so now I'm a business. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business. Like, I'm no longer selling books. I'm like doing the thing. Like, I need to really kind of get this kind of organized.
Mhm.
And so, did you have that moment where you had to stop in your tracks and say, okay, I need to call somebody, and really have them help me figure this out, because
Mhm.
I'm doing more than selling books.
Right, right,
I'm in business now. And I
right.
can imagine that that happens to a lot of people. And, um, we have these ideas around what we want it to look like, what we want it to sound like, all the things. And then you realize you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Yeah, I realize that every day. Oh, oh, I didn't know that. That's how that works? Oh, I need that too?
Right, right, right. Exactly, exactly. And then you meet other business owners. You're like, oh wait, what is that? You're like, what? Tell me more about that. Do I need? You're like,
Right.
oh, do I need to get that? It's
Yeah,
it's all of
so
that.
I can't say, Felicia, that it was like one moment. It is like it is like it's always a moment. I mean,
Mhm,
it's always, you know, every time you take a step in one direction, you get a new piece of information,
mhm.
right? It's not stagnant like that. Oh, it's just, oh, I let me do this. Oh, now here, now here, now. When it was like when I was writing my book and I was working with, my editor, and I would turn the stories in one at a time, and, there became a point where I would say, this was the first time that this happened, and this was the first time this happened, and this was an aha moment, and he came back to me, and he said, "Michelle, you can't have epiphanies all the time." And I'm like, "Yes, you can if you're in the dark.
Right.
If you're in the deep dark, yeah, you are gonna have them all the time." So 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 it becomes that, is that
Mhm.
it, the biggest thing that I have learned is that everything is a learning
Mhm.
experience. Everything is a learning experience.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we just take it and we file it away. And and as much as I've learned that everything is a learning experience, what I've also learned is I've moved into probably like 90% of the stuff that I've moved into with the expectation that I'm going to get a certain thing. I haven't gotten that thing.
Wow.
I've gotten something else,
Right.
but it has set me up for
Mhm.
when I need it, right?
Right.
So I'll give there's so many examples that now when I don't get the thing that I'm expecting from whatever the thing is, I don't even get upset because whatever the work is, whatever's involved, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna need this. I just set it aside. I remember having this idea that I wanted to I met somebody who I who said that they could help me collaborate with some women's colleges around speaking.
Mhm.
And he said, "All right, I need a resume," and he gave me this full list of things that he needed in order to make this happen, which I provided. And so I provided and I kept following up, with, this expectation that now that I've given you everything that you told me that you needed, that this thing is going to happen. And then he came back and he said, "Well, I sent your stuff off and nobody responded, so I guess they're not interested." Well, in my heart of hearts, I don't think he ever sent it off.
Mhm.
But that's okay
Mhm. Mhm.
because that all that work that I put into what he needed, I had it because at some point down the line, somebody was gonna call me and ask me for it, and it was already gonna be done. And I have used that over and over again because it forced me to, like, stop down and think and do the stuff
Mhm.
and create it. So, boom, okay, you didn't use it, but it's an assignment that I needed to complete.
Right, right. He was
So
preparing you for what you didn't even know you needed to be prepared for.
right, exactly. Everything is like that,
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
even when, people come to you with deals and say, I can do this," and they don't do it, and that happens, that's part of it. Be prepared for it, you can't be mad at it, but it heightens your awareness and your, attentiveness and your antenna because it's coming back again, and you can be,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know what this is. I recognize this." And you can ask a different set of questions, I mean, it just but we have to always be in this mode of, I'm moving in territory that I've never moved in before.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And everything that happens, I just need to file it away as being useful. And it really is the same thing as I'm coaching people about managing food. Is that no matter what you do in any situation, whether you eat the thing or whether you don't eat the thing, whatever it is, it's a learning situation. And
Mhm.
sometimes you learn more when you eat the thing that you didn't want to eat, right? When you misstep because then you can go back and evaluate because that situation is coming up again. You don't
Mhm.
have to beat yourself up about it, but you can start thinking, okay, who was there? What time did that happen? Next time when it comes up, how can I prepare myself? So you have something to wrap your head around to prepare you for the next time that it happens because it is coming again. And
Gotcha.
that's just not with food. That's just with life. That's just with business. That's with everything.
Gotcha. And so it basically what you're saying is like everything has a purpose. Like and
Yes.
we don't always see it. We don't
Yes.
and I think about that again, when you're when you're a business. Like these things are going to happen. You're going to have these challenges. Um, but you got to tuck it away. Sounds like what you've done is you tuck it away as so that thing didn't work, but it's going to serve a purpose at some point.
Yes.
So not necessarily throw it all out,
Mhm.
but kind of put it on the shelf because you might need to come back to it,
Mhm.
like whatever that thing is, like,
Mhm.
that resume or that
Mhm.
recording or what, or, that how you sell yourself,
Mhm.
that kind
All
of
of that.
thing. Yeah. And
Yes.
so, I was going to ask you about like your challenges, and it sounds like the challenges really you have been able to kind of looked at challenges as opportunities. And
Yeah, so the challenge in the challenge in the beginning is this, is you don't that's what you said, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Mhm.
And so what here here's a way that I can frame it. When I think about my romantic life, I think about my romantic life. Um, I can think about 3 relationships that were very defining.
Mhm.
The first relationship, I learned what I did not want.
Mhm.
So until that relationship, I didn't know what I didn't want, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I didn't have anything compared
And
to,
people say, "What do
right?
you don't want?" You like, I don't know it until I see that I don't want that thing."
Right, right, until I experience it,
Exactly.
right? And then the second relationship, showed me what it felt like to have what I wanted, right? What that experience was like, because I could pair it to the relationship to the one before when it was not what I wanted. The third relationship showed me what was non-negotiable.
Mm.
And up until that time, I didn't know what was non-negotiable. And so I give this example to talk about this, like, being in business for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Is
Mhm.
that at the very beginning, I said yes to everything. "Oh, you wanna come to this expo? You wanna come to this book signing? You wanna come to this fair? You wanna come
I'm
talk
there.
to" Right, 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 "We're gonna pay you. We're not gonna pay you. It's in California. It's around the corner." It was I said yes to everything
Mhm.
because I didn't know what to say no to, right?
Mhm.
And so, what saying yes to everything that looked, oh, you want to talk to attorneys, you want to talk to doctors, you want to talk to supply people, you want to talk to farmers, you want to talk to women, you want to talk to kids, you want to talk to the police. I mean, everybody, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But it took all of that for me to find my sweet spot. So it took me doing the things that weren't quite a fit for me to know that they weren't a fit, to
Mhm.
figure out what was a fit. So now 5 years into it, I can be discerning. I have some I have some parameters. I have
Mhm.
some markers. I have some things to use to determine the likelihood that this will be a good space for me, which
Mhm.
I didn't have it until I did all that stuff that wasn't right. I didn't know it was right, but you got to try it and see. So that, that's the challenge. The challenge is as you refine your message, because Felicia, I look at this. I'm like, when I think about the number, 4 out of 5 African American women are either overweight or obese.
Mhm.
That's a bunch of people, right? I Right now, I have to decide, am I going to try to be a big business or I'm going to be a boutique person, right?
Mhm.
Do I have a boutique person? Because if my business is boutique, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much I want to do, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I mean, I can stay. I'm in Maryland. I can be busy enough just dealing with people in Maryland. I live in Anne Arundel County. I can be busy enough just dealing with folk in Anne Arundel County. It doesn't need to be everybody, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so when I think about where my sweet spot is, and just for anybody, where's my expertise? I serve the person that I used to be.
Mm.
And so the more I figured out how to define my niche, the more powerful my message is. So I'm over 60. right? Postmenopausal, right? Professional, right? Successful professional, right? Yo-yo dieting, that, stress, Black woman, in sales. So with all of those things that I layer on, my target is getting tighter and tighter and
Mhm.
tighter, and it's getting more specific. But the tighter it gets, the more my credibility goes up.
Mhm.
Because if I'm talking to somebody, because I can say, I used to be you. Are you this? Right? Are you a Black woman? Raise your hand.
Right, right.
Right? Have you spent decades climbing the career ladder and struggling with your weight? Raise your hand. Are you tired of this? Right? Is your life at risk? Raise your hand. Because I've been there.
I love that.
So it's but
It's
but
really finding your niche and
yeah.
finding, and I love what you said. You said, "I am serving people who I used to be."
Mhm,
And so that
mhm.
makes it super, super clear about who your market, who you're reaching, who you're talking to, who you're serving, and who you're not serving.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that, Michelle, is so key in business. You know that.
Mhm.
It's really drilling down on who your audience is that is going to yield you the most success.
Yes. Yes.
And I love that. I love that you started here and now you've really come down to really very, very specific.
Mhm.
And so what do you wish you knew when you started that you know now?
You know, I I think I think that if I knew it back then, I might not have started. I didn't need to
It was
know.
probably good that you didn't know.
If I if I if I had known all this stuff, I might have said, "That's all right." You know? I'm good.
So what have you learned on this journey? What have you learned on this
Oh,
journey?
so, you know, I wanna go back to it's not about the food, it's about the story behind the food.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
and so it is with life. So it is with business. It is I'll give you this example.
mhm,
Um, when in the 1990s, I started I fell in love with art, right? I
mhm,
started collecting art. And there was this shop, and I was living in Atlanta, and there was this gallery that I really love. They carried a lot of Black art, and they were Black owned, and I wanted to support them. But and it was small, right? It's probably
mhm. Boutique, very
bigger,
boutique.
no bigger than my bedroom. It was small, and but every time I went in there, there was never anybody in there, and I was like, man, I sure hope they make it
Mm,
because I can't, I know they have salaries to pay and this rent can't be cheap and all that, right? And I was concerned about them. And then one day I had an opportunity to have a conversation with the owner. And I said something like that, y'all doing all right? Y'all right? Oh, yeah, business is great.
and you
And
like,
she
"I
said, oh,
can't tell."
so she's like, oh, you think this is the business? She took me round back. She took me round back, and they had a full wholesaling operation working out back behind that showroom. They just had the showroom because they had the showroom. The business was
Mm,
what was going on behind the curtain, behind the doors. And there were people pulling up with trucks, getting like big pallets of pictures. I mean, they were. hustling. A big That was the business, not this little tiny beautiful showroom that I
Not the
saw.
storefront, not what we see in the on the front
Mm-mm,
or what we see on
mm-mm.
social media.
Right. Mm-mm. It was what was going on behind it was what was going on behind the scenes.
Mm,
And so that's the thing to just like to be real clear on. There's a story that you see and then the story that you don't see,
mm,
right? It's more to it. There's always more to it. And it is that piece that's where the money is. That's the heart.
mhm.
That's where the truth is in the thing that you don't even see.
I love it. I love it. And to your point, like, when you're in business, like, what you don't see is the hustle. You see the
Right.
glamour, you see them dressed up and looking good and
Mhm.
all that, but they
Right.
don't see what's behind door number 1.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's the planning. That's the planning. That's the
Yeah.
research. That's doing the books. That's doing all the tedious stuff that you don't want to do. That's doing the calls. That's doing all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how have you grown, Michelle, since Leaving Large was
Oh,
launched?
wow. Wow. One of um the name of my book is Leaving Larger Stories of a Food Addict. My business is Brand New Now Press.
Right. Yep. Brand new now.
And that grew out of this my branding, which is I am brand new now. And my transformation, my moving through and getting on the other side of this food addiction had everything to do with me developing brand new thoughts and brand new beliefs around food. So brand new thinking. Well, that brand new is composed of a framework. It's 8 principles. There are 8 principles to being brand new. So you
Mm,
got to begin and believe. You got to rise up and reinvent. You have to be rooted in alignment and accountability to focus on nutrition and energy. You also have to be mindful of what I call DSW. That's not the shoes, but it's drink, sleep, and right. You also have to lean into the notion of understanding that no is the new yes. And I'm going down brand new. And then the E stands for evaluate, ask, and think. And the W is wow, wow, I'm worth it. So I take people through all those principles in my course and in my training. But to answer your question about how I have grown and right, really who am I now,
mhm.
is really rooted in that E, the evaluate, ask, think. And what I am and what I teach and what is so important, whether it's about food, whether it's about life, whether it's about anything, it is about consciousness. It is about awareness. Because before you can transform, you have to be conscious and aware of where you are. And at the root of that is being able to ask the right questions, just to be able to ask questions.
Mm,
So evaluate, ask, think. So my questions as they relate to people that I'm coaching around food is, am I hungry or am I something else? What's really going on here? Right? Was I hungry a few minutes ago? Did something already happen? Did I read something? Did I hear something? Did I think about something that makes me want to eat something right now? And is this food or is it fake food? Is it real food?
mm, mm.
How do I know it? Right? Do I trust the source? Why do I trust the source? And then finally, if eating this, whatever it is not going to give me the body, the health, the life that I say that I want, why am I eating it? Those
Mm,
questions, though I stay rooted in those questions about food every day. I stay rooted in those questions. I change them for life. But
yeah.
it's that this it is this constant being this constant state of evaluating, asking, and thinking, being aware, and not moving through life mindlessly and unconsciously and just doing things automatically. And so how I have changed is that it's that. And it is it is it is so beautiful to be alive.
Mm.
It is so beautiful to be aware. It is so Felicia, I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. This weekend I went to Boston. I went to Boston to hang out with my niece. And I took the overnight train and I got there at early, like 8, 11, 10 early.
Mhm,
Yeah, it was like 8 o'clock. But I got to the hotel and they gave me an early check-in.
mhm.
While I was checking in, I had this overwhelming desire for a cup of coffee. I thought to myself, "Oh my God, I would love a good cup of coffee right now." But I decided a year and a half ago that I wasn't going to drink coffee anymore because of health reasons,
Mm.
right? And after making that decision a year and a half ago, I never really had an issue or thought about it, right? I wasn't trying to resist it. I just said, I'm not gonna do this anymore. But I'm standing there and I want this cup of coffee. And I'm like, why do I want coffee? I hadn't seen anybody with coffee. It wasn't like the aroma was coming out of the restaurant. It was just I'm standing there checking in the hotel and I have this urge for coffee. In the old days, I would have just gone to get it, or I would have just like resisted it.
Mhm,
One of those things.
mhm.
But instead, I asked myself, why am I thinking about coffee now? Now, anybody that knows me, I love a good hotel. Love, you know, I was checking into the Westin, so I was like feeling good, right?
Right.
They got the that comfy bed, right? But anyway, I'm thinking, why this? And here's a little bit of a backstory. Um, One of my very best friends died about a year and a half ago. And she was an HR director for some of the finest hotel brands around the country, around the world. And we had fun for decades while she was doing HR at these hotels. Well, I had fun. She was working, but I was like kind of like tagging on. And on Saturday mornings, our ritual was that we would get up and we would go have coffee somewhere. We would
Mm.
have coffee, maybe we'd have pastries, and we would just sit and laugh and talk for hours. And sometimes it might be, girl, let's go grab a cup of coffee, and we go do that. And I loved going to the hotels back then, and they still do it now, I think, but I don't know because I'm not drinking the coffee. I don't know what they do. They would serve the coffee in these white carafes, and if you always felt really
Mhm.
special, they come and they were poured, and the carafes were so beautiful. And I would just ooh and ah over these carafes. And one year, she bought one for me for Christmas as a Christmas present, and so I could have it at home. And I stood there and I thought, that's what's going on. I'm
Mhm,
in this hotel. I'm
mhm, mhm, mhm,
thinking
mhm.
about her has me thinking about the coffee. And what I decided to do was I walked down to Starbucks. I got a cup of tea. I got a cup of tea and some oat milk, and I sat by the fireplace in this beautiful hotel. And I just let the memories and the
Mm.
fun wash over me. I just let all these remembrances, all
Yeah.
the good times, while I sat there and had my cup of tea. And so to be able to be in that space, and here's what happens when I don't think people really understand, is that coffee was a signal. I didn't want coffee, right? I didn't that wasn't what I
You
wanted.
need that
That wasn't what my
experience.
spirit, I wanted the experience. Yeah,
You get that
my
experience.
spirit, that coffee was leading me to that memory that I needed to experience. It
Mhm.
was leading me to some grief and some sadness that I hadn't fully expressed.
Mm. Or fully processed.
Yes, yeah, it was right. I hadn't fully processed.
Mhm,
It was that. And so to be able to operate at that kind of level where I can feel what is going on in my body and not put a judgment on it, to be willing to go through it, right? To be
mhm,
willing to go through it, because Felicia, if I had just said, "Oh, you know what? I think I want some coffee, and I haven't had any in a year and a half, and I really deserve some. I've been good and all that." It's not. It's just one cup. I'll be right.
I can treat
Right.
myself.
I can treat myself right. If it doesn't have any calories in it, I can put some, artificial. I can, if I had said all that stuff
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
Yep.
addiction says to you, right?
Mm.
I would have missed. I would have missed what my soul actually wanted and needed,
Wow. Wow.
thinking that the coffee was the thing that I wanted. And
Wow.
so to be able to live in that, and then to be able to teach other people how to do that, this awareness and consciousness, to be able to feel your life,
Yeah.
to feel emotions and just not numbly go through life.
Mm.
That's how I've grown.
That is
That
powerful. That is powerful. And you really have to, I don't want to say to be trained, but you have to help people help you understand the why.
Mhm.
And um to
Trained
really
it train train
to get
trained
to
is
that
correct.
place. To get to that place of
Yes.
like, oh, I mean, because I know, I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, I haven't had anything sweet this week. I went a whole week. So one little slice of cake or pie is not gonna hurt
Mhm,
me. And then but
mhm,
you're right. You're like, so why did I feel like I need that pie? Because I had gone a whole week. And really not really tapping into the what's behind that.
mhm.
But I think that we can relate that to so many things in life, not
Absolutely,
just food.
absolutely.
It's threads throughout so many things that we do in life or what we struggle with, the messages that we have that we tell ourselves, what's in our head. I always say, get out of my head,
Mhm,
get out your head. And so I think that's powerful.
mhm,
Um, I think that's powerful not just for losing weight, but I think it's powerful for starting something that you want to start because we are afraid of what people might say, or we're afraid that it's going to be too hard. It's going to cost too much money. It's all the fear
mhm,
that we put in front of us as this barricade.
mhm.
And so I was getting ready to kind of ask you about your words of wisdom, but you've said them. Like that whole kind of process that you take people through. I mean, you said that yours were give yourself grace, which you absolutely do, because, on any journey, you have to give yourself some grace because we're going to make
Absolutely.
mistakes. But I really think that those bullet points that you outlined are absolutely words for starting the hustle, staying in the hustle. All of those nuggets of wisdom is necessary for whatever hustle that somebody is about to embark on. So I love that. And so I'm going to go back to your playbook for a minute.
Okay.
Say that flow is more important than grinding.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. So, it is. And see, this grind is something that has been pushed on us, right? We uh, we we aren't designed for that. I mean, so when I'm teaching, and what I ultimately learned was this whole journey is not wasn't about weight loss. This journey was about health. This journey was about learning how to take care of myself. And there's nothing about the word grind that speaks to self-care.
Mm,
There is but there's everything about the word flow that speaks
mhm,
to self-care. And if you are in alignment, you don't have to grind, right?
mm,
If you are right, it you can be in joy, right? You can allow the process to happen. You don't have to force it. You can let things develop organically. And so you can be in tune. It's I just finished getting certified as a listener poet. And what listener poets do, we go into trauma into situations where people are dealing with trauma, and we listen to them for 15 or 20 minutes, and then out of that 15 or 20-minute session we write a poem for them that helps them navigate that trauma.
Oh.
And when I that's related to flow from the standpoint of that all this stuff is coming at us all of the time.
Mm.
And when you are able to pause and meditate and rest, it restores you to move into these things. You don't have to always be hustling and grinding if you're pouring into yourself. And so it attunes you to be able to see what's for you, right? And 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 not constantly working from this place of depletion.
Mm.
And so, we live in a culture that really capitalizes on that, right? That really tells us, you got to have a 9 to 5 and a 5 to 9. You got to do this, you got to do that, and to what end, right? To what end? So you figure out a way to 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 do the thing that you need to do, but take care of yourself at the same time. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about um flowing because it it eases life, right? It right, you get to enjoy it. You
Mhm.
get to feel it. You get to experience it. You get to smell the roses.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you retire, right? You can do it. All of it can be just organic if we practice that. And understand, I'm saying this from having come from a job that was 100% commission. I had quotas that I needed to meet, right? And it was that all the time. And so I've had to practice not always being stimulated because it felt normal to me to always be grinding, to always be hustling, to always, and so to slow down and just say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work in blocks. I'm gonna work for 45 minutes, then I'm gonna go take a 15-minute break.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna take 15 minutes, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna work 45 minutes more. And then I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna come back and work,
Mm.
right? Then I'm gonna, create that in my life, right?
Yep.
Room for movement, room for meditation, room for reflection, right? Room to get connected to myself because with all this like grinding and moving and doing and hustling, what happens is that we lose the ability or don't nurture or develop the ability to connect to ourselves. And this life, this world is about how we move through this world is about relationships.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
in order for us to have relationships, thriving, beautiful relationships with other people, we have to have a thriving, beautiful relationship with ourselves. And
Amen.
if we're always hustling and grinding and not spending time with ourselves to reflect, to read, to write, to do those things, to get to know ourselves, to understand ourselves, then we are robbing ourselves plus other people, being so caught up in the hustle, being
Mm.
so caught up in the grind, we miss what life is really all about.
Wow. Wow.
So that,
So, it's really moving with intention.
yes,
It's moving with
yes,
intention.
yes. And we set them. So we set the we set the intention about our physical health. We set the intention about our spiritual health, about our emotional health, about our intellectual health, about our financial health. We set those intentions, right? And then even beyond setting those intentions is embracing that we deserve whatever the intention is that we set. We have
Mhm.
to believe that we deserve it. We have to believe
Yeah.
that it's for us, or
Yes.
else we'll always kind of be right. But setting it and then knowing it inside that it's for us and available. And then once you set it, once you put it on paper, once you put it out there, once you declare it, once you claim it, then the universe, your mind, everything starts to come in line to make it happen for you.
Mm.
It
Amen.
does.
Amen. Michelle, this has been like amazing. Amazing. That's my favorite word. Amazing. Amazing. And so, we know that your story is about weight loss, and we know that wisdom and hustle is about, business development and entrepreneurship. But it's great the way you have tied your life mission into a business. Like
Mhm.
it's been a nice bridge for you.
Mhm.
Unintentionally.
Right.
Very unintentionally, but now moving with intention,
Mhm.
getting very,
Mhm.
very clear about the things that you're doing and who you're serving. And so, what's next for brand new press now?
So, um, I wanted I'll tell you, but I do wanna, like, talk about this bridge
Okay.
and kinda, like, even just close the circle a bit more, make it tighter. Because as we're talking about having this conversation about entrepreneurship, right?
Mhm.
And building your hustle. And so we can use the word hustle, like, building this thing, right? Your passion project, your purpose project, this
Mhm.
thing, right? Is like the biggest takeaway that I want people to have and to understand is that in order for any entrepreneurial venture to thrive, the person behind it has to thrive.
Mm.
Your business cannot be healthy if you are not healthy. You have to pour into yourself. You have to get the sleep. You have to get the hydration. You have to get the movement. You have to get the nutrition. You have to get the mental health support. You have to incorporate those 5 principles of health into your life. They are not separate things,
Mhm.
right? Make those a part of how you live your life so that you pour into yourself so that you can be strong and healthy and thriving. Make that a priority so that your business can be that way.
Mhm.
Because if your health isn't, right? If you're grinding and hustling and you're tired all the time, then your business is going to collapse because you're going to collapse. So take the time to make your health, which is not just your health, it is your life, make your life a priority. Focus on that, and then the business stuff will come.
Mhm.
It will come if you focus on your life and your health first.
Love it. Love it. So what's next for brand new press now?
Yeah, so, I'm still writing. I'm still speaking, right? I'm still coaching. It's amplifying the work.
Okay.
It's amplifying the work. I have 2 books that I'm working on right now. When I first started this, I was not writing for the Baltimore Times. I write for the Baltimore Times every week. I was not writing for sisters from AARP. I write for them on a regular basis, so you can catch my work there. Um, I have a newsletter on LinkedIn, Mind Over Meals, which comes out pretty regularly.
Mm.
I am speaking at conferences, doing workshops, online workshops.
You are doing
Um,
the thing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
doing the thing.
So it's that. It's just it's being consistent.
Yeah,
It's being consistent in this work and just in answering the call.
yeah.
And
How did you just
answering the
open
call.
a window? He just opened the whole door. He just opened the door and he said he said, "Walk in," and you just kinda jumped and fell in it.
Yeah, I jumped to fill it. Yeah.
So how can people find you, Michelle?
Yeah, sure. If anybody wants to reach out to me, they can reach out to me directly at michellepettis.com. I answer every email. That's Michelle with two L's. Michelle Pettis is Petties. That's my email address. You can follow me on Instagram at I am brand new now or on Facebook, right? I do have a free emotional overeating support group that I host on Facebook every Monday. Join my Facebook group, which is Women Losing Weight Together. Um, please come, please come. So those are the primarily the ways to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I have a YouTube channel. I am brand new now on YouTube, so you can check it out there. But you just Google my name. You Google my name, and all my stuff will come up. If you're interested in having me come do a workshop for you, love to do it. Just let me know. If you have an event where you need a speaker, would love to do that. That's my sweet spot. And I'm here. I'm
I
here for the
I
call.
I mean, I'm just Michelle, I'm gonna go back to the fact that when I met you, none of this was happening. None of this was happening. You were still working, you was trying to retire, and here we are.
And here we are.
Congratulations to you, my
And
sister.
here we are. And the book. All right, if you want to buy the book, you can go to Amazon and get it if you want to. But if you go to leavinglarge.com, if you go to oh yes, have it. If you go to leavinglarge.com, I will sign it and send it to you directly. So that's another way to reach me. And as a result of doing that, then you'll be on my mailing list, which will give you all of, access to the different things that I'm doing. If you don't want to buy the book, you can go to leavinglarge.com, download a free chapter to see if it speaks to you in any way.
Great.
So either way.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And thanks to our audience for listening. I hope you were moved by Michelle's inspiring story to start or stay in your hustle. And in the words of Snoop Dogg, until the next episode. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you,
Thank
Michelle.
you, Felicia. It's been a blast. Thank
Yeah,
you, sis. I
we'll
appreciate
catch
it.
up. All right.
Okay. All right.
Bye bye.